It's December the 1st, and it was really important to me to talk about holiday overwhelm. Now, if you hadn't had a chance to read my introductory email for today, or if you're not signed up to get them yet, you can go to my website at www.oneselfcoaching.com, and there's a little button there that says join the community. Go ahead and add yourself to the mailing list there, and then you'll get sort of the preemptive email. You'll get a link to this live video, and then on Fridays you'll also get a kind of a follow-up, how to take this knowledge through the weekend and move forward with it. So back to today's topic, holiday overwhelm, and how sometimes the most enjoyable things can steal the joy that they're meant to initiate. Humbug. Nobody wants to feel crappy around the holidays. Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, winter solstice, New Year's, however it is that you celebrate or don't, it can be a stressful time of the year. So I'm going to start with what I believe is probably one of the biggest stressors, finances. So winter holidays like Christmas and Hanukkah can mean shopping for gifts and food. And if money is tight, it's going to suck the pleasure right out of your gift giving. Here in Canada and in most of the Western world, shopping for special occasions has been elevated to the level of an Olympic sport. The gifts must be perfectly suited for each recipient, not cost too much or too little. Each person should receive the same number of gifts or the same dollar value spent on them. Don't forget about the hard to shop for. You know the ones. The people who have everything they need or want, and if they don't, they just go and get it for themselves. Then we've got online shopping versus shopping locally to support small business and local employees. That is a can of worms we're not going to open today, but it's something to consider. I'm going to throw a little anecdote in here. So one of my favorite people has a birthday a few days after Christmas, but she's also one of those people that I have a difficult time finding a really great gift for. And I'm going to admit that super stresses me out because I really love her and I want her to feel appreciated and loved when she opens the gift from me. And I experience a lot of guilt around it when I'm not always able to find the perfect thing for her. And then the stress is compounded by the fact that her birthday is 3 days after Christmas. Growing up, I know she received a lot of those combo gifts, you know, the kind where you spend more money than you would on one gift so that you have this big gift that encompasses both occasions. Oh my God, I do not want to do that. I get a birthday gift and a Christmas gift every year, and I believe she does. She should too. So I'm also really careful not to use Christmas wrapping paper on her birthday gift and to make an extra effort to serve birthday cake while my house is still exploding with butter tarts and shortbread and cookies and all of the things. But this is what we do for our loved ones because when it turns out, it's totally worth it. While we're still on gift giving, how about that spouse of yours? How many people really and truly find it enjoyable to go and buy something for their spouse? And then do you keep it a secret? Do you pay for it from your joint account or credit card? How much should you spend? Does it matter how much they're spending on you? Should you get something for the house? Or is that like a cop-out? My spouse prefers gifts from the heart, like something handmade or a well-written card. But because he's the love of my life, I want to go crazy and get him all the things he mentioned in the last 364 days. Giving gifts, I guess, maybe is one of my love languages. But he's one of those people who doesn't ask for very much in life. So when he wants something, he just kind of goes out and gets it. And that can leave me in a tight spot around Christmas. There's sort of an unspoken rule that within like 6 weeks before Christmas, There's no buying anything for yourself. You're only allowed to talk about what you want, or write it on a list, or text a picture of it, or put it in the Amazon cart leading up to Christmas. Hanukkah. Now, I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but there are several days in a row of gift giving associated with Hanukkah, and that can require a large budget depending on how many people you have to buy for and what you like to get them. There's also all kinds of miscellaneous gifts like advent calendars, dreidel games, teacher gifts, neighborhood parties, secret Santa name exchanges, and the list goes on. And it can seem like every year the list of gifts to buy gets longer and longer. So let's just leave gifts and shopping here for a second. Talk about Christmas lights. I love Christmas lights. I don't know why I love Christmas lights, but I just am filled with joy when the sun goes down early in the wintertime and I get to see neighborhoods and yards completely lit up. My neighbors across the street kind of keep adding to their stuff, and it's so pretty. So let's talk about how and why that happens. When I see the yards all lit up, and there's something about seeing a Christmas tree lit up through a window while I'm taking an evening walk or driving through a neighborhood that I don't live in, that I just love. But then I wonder, is that tree real or fake? Is it pre-lit or strung by hand? Did you cut it down yourself? Don't forget to water it, because there's going to be pine needles everywhere. You can look on Pinterest if you want to see how it should be decorated, because there's no shortage of inspiration there. Back to the outdoor lights, you better get them up while the weather is nice. Now, do you put them up, or do you have to avoid nagging your spouse to do it? I'm actually okay with putting up all the decorations minus the outside lights, but taking them down is where I get stressed out. I just want my space back to normal. And I just want to all the extra stuff that comes out at Christmas, I just want it put away. And usually between Christmas and New Year's, I'm like, enough, and I just put it all away. Freaks me out a little. It's one of my little super cute OCD things, right? Just clutter overwhelms me, which, don't look in the background. It's super contradictory to what I just said. So even if food and entertaining are totally your jam, the holidays can put you into a tailspin. With COVID, the last couple of winters, we've seen fewer and smaller gatherings by far. But even with that, when you're putting tiny pickles into fancy little dishes and thinly slicing a baguette and uncorking another bottle of wine, instead of enjoying the company of your friends, the whole thing can lose a little bit of its shine. And it's not always gatherings and friends that can stress us out. Why not throw in family dynamics too? Tell me about your auntie that still pinches your cheeks and strangleholds your kids in 2 long hugs despite their protestations. Who's picking up your grandparents and delivering them to the holiday destination? Any wild nieces and nephews out there just waiting to cut loose on your house? Or are you dreading the path of destruction that your own little ones might create at someone else's house this year? Blended families can also be particularly gut-wrenching. I mean, who gets whom for the holidays this year? Who's spending more on gifts? Who gets to buy the children the one really special thing they want? Where does Santa's gift show up? What do you do when you're the parent who can't afford to get them that one special thing that they want? Holidays are the exact perfect time to drudge up a bunch of old crap from the past and throw it over your shoulder, right? Like a sack of Santa Claus toys, and go toting it around. Holiday stress makes me want to shout from the treetops. Pun totally intended. But what if you're an empty nester now? It can be super difficult to see your children grow up and start traditions of their own and have to divide their time between your house and their in-laws' house. And there might even come a time when the celebrations are no longer held at your home. A lot of people can feel useless or redundant after being the organizer and the host for so many years when that's no longer in their job description. There's also the let's just get out of Dodge people for the holidays. Have you ever done that? Just taken a trip instead? It sounds really idyllic, but a major lack of holiday traditions can feel super weird, especially if there's kids involved. We've done it. We've gone all inclusive for Christmas, and our kids actually ask us not to do that anymore. Okay, let's just shake that off, get it out, okay? Because the last thing I want to do here is increase your stress levels by talking about the things that can be stressful, especially because today is December the 1st. I really, really, really want to normalize this idea of holiday stress, because I think a lot of us bottle it up and ignore it. And then before we know it, our feelings are flying out like a cork out of an overpriced and unappreciated bottle of champagne, right? No one wants to find themselves drinking that champagne straight out of the bottle behind a locked bathroom door with a house full of guests in the kitchen awkwardly staring at each other, okay? Now that we've acknowledged it, let's get proactive. The first step to get where you're going is to know where you want to go, right? So let's picture it. Your holidays are going to go off without a hitch. What exactly does that look like? Okay, so for me, I like a decorated home. I like meaningful gifts instead of just stuff. I want foods traditional to my family. I want family and friends there. I want time off work. And I don't mind a little traveling, to other people's homes when this COVID thing settles the heck down. So when you're thinking about it, don't be afraid to put the details in there, the fine details. How many decorations? What types of gifts are meaningful for you? What would you appreciate as a gift? What would you like to eat? Who will prepare it? Where are you celebrating? And with whom? Okay? And keep in mind, you don't have to be realistic here. Just throw down everything that seems ideal to you. Okay? Flesh it out to the fullest. And once you've spent some time with that, write it down. Write down the things that are most important to you. I did. And I'll just quickly share them here with you. So I want outdoor lights on the house that I don't have to put up or take down. I want a decorated tree with matching ornaments and no kids craft ornaments. I know it sounds super harsh, but I just, I have a pile of reasons for that, but I want the Pinterest tree. I do. I want the Pinterest tree. I like other decorations, but I don't want to feel overwhelmed with a bunch of extra crap in my house. I love having people over, but I don't want too many people. I want turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, and dinner rolls. The rest are good, but I want just those things, right? And I want gravy on it all. I want Christmas morning with my kids, my hubby, my sister, my mom and her guy, and our best friend. And I want us opening gifts one at a time throughout the whole morning while I sip on coffee and bask in the enjoyment of seeing the people I love. Super excited and appreciative about the work I've put into the Christmas morning. I like to have my turkey dinner around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I want to tidy that up and spend the rest of my afternoon and early evening playing cards, assembling toys, and snacking on sweet baked goods and eating turkey bun sandwiches for supper. Now, that's my ideal. Is that the way that it's going to turn out? Doubt it, right? But having an idea of what I want can help me put in place strategies to help make it happen. Such strategies for me and my list might include saying no to invitations to go out to a bunch of other gatherings, right? Or only throwing one small gathering of my own. If my spouse wants to entertain more, that's fine, but I'm gonna need to be the supporting role in that and not the primary role, right? Because it's overwhelming for me He doesn't want me to freak out. My kids don't want me to freak out. I don't want to freak out, and my guests don't want me to freak out. So let's just be realistic about what freaks us out. I'm going to have to ask for help preparing some of the food and baking. That's just a lot of food and baking for a lot of people, and I'm going to need to ask for help. I also might need to spend time with people that I don't love as much as some of the other people, but I'll do it because it shows the people that I do love that I love them. On the other hand, I might not get to spend time with everyone that I really, really love to. And I'm going to have to accept that they have a finite amount of time to spend with me too. In the excitement of my day, my kids might not show all the gratitude and grace that I wish they would, opening their gifts. So I'm working on accepting that too. Each of us is going to have our own list and plans that will work for them. Mine is strictly an example, okay? Not your to-do list. So here's the trickiest part, okay? You might have heard me mention it already, and it really and truly is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Acceptance. Acceptance. It starts with a deep breath, and then awareness that there's something happening that you're not super into. You don't like it. It's making you feel something that you don't like feeling. Totally normal. You gotta just say, oh, I'm aware of that. Something's happening and I don't like it. Keep breathing. Then, when you're breathing, you'll find the time and the space to figure out what it is that's bothering you about the situation, and then you can decide how you want to deal with it. And dealing with it really only leaves you two options. Option number one, change how you think about it. Okay? For example, my kids don't say thank you to their grandma for giving them the beautiful gift. Okay? Just an example, not necessarily what they do. Okay? I'm going to change how I think about it. Breathe. And then I'm going to acknowledge that they are not me. They are not adults. And they're having a really freaking incredible day. And it might be their best day of the whole entire year. And I'm just going to let them have it. Okay? I'm going to change how I think about it. The other thing I can do to help release some of this angst is to do something about it. Okay? Change how you think about it, or take action and do something about it. Same example. My kids don't say thank you to their grandmother for a beautiful gift. Okay? Step one, still the same. Breathe. Step two, decide what action looks like and your intention behind that action. I don't want to make a big scene. I don't want to freak people out, and I don't want to make my kids feel like crap on the best day of their life. So I might whisper in their ear during a quiet moment and remind them to express some of this joy and gratitude that they're feeling to their grandmother, and let them know that it was important, the time and energy and effort that she put into getting them a great gift this year. Okay? So in case you missed it, the magic happens in the breathing, because there's a moment between feeling and reacting. And you get to decide how long that moment is. So don't rush it. Okay? Take all the breaths you need. And it might just be the breaths are all that you need. Okay. So I want to give you one more tool for your toolbox, and it's called FAST. F-A-S-T, which is the First Aid Stress Tool. I learned this little trick from my naturopathic physician, and it's helped me on more than one occasion. Okay, so here's how it works. Get your hands free if you want to do it with me. Okay, so turn both your wrists upward. Take one hand, I'm right-handed, so I usually start with that one, and put it under your other wrist, bringing the fingertips of your 3 longest fingers to the pulse point on the opposite wrist, okay? So just hold it there and just feel the pulse for a second. I'm easily stimulated by outside stimulus, so I like to close my eyes, okay? So while you're still holding your wrist with these 3 longest fingers gently on the pulse point, bring your open hand up and place it on your forehead. Okay? Looks kind of weird, but trust me, it's going to work. I like to close my eyes and breathe long and slow, okay? So while you're doing this, let those feelings of frustration, anger, overwhelm, disappointment, okay, whatever it is, just let it be there. Don't push it away, okay? It's going to go away on its own. And while you're doing that, you might feel yourself settle. It works really fast. That's, I think, why they called it that, okay? And it might take 5 breaths, and it might take 30 breaths. There's no right or wrong way to do it, and there are no rules, except be nice. Be nice to yourself. You're freaking overwhelming here, okay? You're having a lot going on. Just be kind. Offer yourself a little bit of kindness, okay? So I did add a link with some more information about this tool and a video to watch someone else perform it for your reference, okay? So that'll be in Friday's email. You know what? I'll post it on my Facebook page too, okay? So before I go, I just want to let you know that if you think you're the only person who has considered being coached through the holidays about holiday stress, you're absolutely wrong, okay? Everyone gets stressed in some way about the holidays. I have space for another client or two during the holidays, and I would be more than happy to help you achieve that less stress-filled holiday that you're imagining, okay? So you can reach me through my website at oneselfcoaching.com or right here on social media, okay? And until next time, let's be honest and kind.